I'm just a woman. And as a woman, there's no way for me to make my own money. Not enough to earn a living or to support my family. And if I had my own money, which I don't, that money would belong to my husband the moment we got married.
I'm starting to get really annoyed at TikTok's algorithm because it keeps showing me these soft life influencers, and these girls out here, they're basically saying how to decenter men from your life in one sentence, and then they're turned back around, and in the second sentence, they're like, how to get the princess treatment from these same men. It's like the blind leading the blind, and we have to talk about it.
What are you gonna do with your life?
Polish up all my other talents and become an ornament to society.
You know, the feminism of women of color, or might I actually say the underprivileged, because that might be a little bit more appropriate in today's time, has always been very, very different from the feminism of those of the privileged. Where the privileged may be fighting for the rights to display, body hair, for example, the underprivileged may be out here fighting for other issues that include, I don't know, for example, domestic abuse at the hands of men, or the fact that, women that are single are considered a failure and expired by the age of 30. You know what I mean?
I plan on being an engineer at NASA, but I can't do that without taking them classes at that all-white high school. And I can't change the color of my skin.
So no, I don't want to undermine, the issues that are important to others and what others are fighting for. But in my mind, there are definitely certain issues that take priority over others. And among the, few that I've mentioned, another one that I want to mention that I think is very close to me personally is that of financial freedom for women.
They would be his property. So don't sit there and tell me that marriage isn't an economic proposition, because it is.
Because the thing is that women that look like me have not had access to their own finances for generation after generation after generation. And it's the lack of financial freedom or the ability to create some sort of a career of your own that has kept women stuck. Stuck in miserable marriages, but more importantly, stuck in miserable lives for years and years and years. So if you think that you can convince me to live the soft life where I have to regress myself into depending on a man for my entire lifetime, you got it twisted. As a woman of color that came from a very underprivileged background that now lives a pretty decently privileged life, I find this whole concept of living the soft life extremely ridiculous. Do these influencers not understand how exactly they're about to go out there and get this soft life for themselves? How exactly are you going to decenter men, or at least claim to decenter men, right? Because you're not actually decentering men, right? How exactly are you decentering men when the existence of your soft life is absolutely dependent on this man's income? If the man now, is in a relationship with you and doesn't marry you and is with you for 7 years and decides to discard you, for example, or even if he doesn't discard you, he's a good man, but now he loses his job and his income, what exactly happens to your soft life?
I know this is a very controversial take, especially now with the rise of sprinkle, sprinkle, lady of leisure, soft life. You're not really getting a chance to leave your 20s with any skills that you can monetize in the future. And this is a price that you'll definitely have to pay for in your 30s. A lot of people on this app make it seem like being financially dependent on a man is very glamorous, but I don't think it's as glamorous as they're making it seem. A woman being financially independent is one of the best gifts that you can give yourself because it allows you to be flexible, have options. It basically gives you freedom. So if you ever change your mind in the relationship and you decide this is not where I want to be, you can exit the relationship whenever you want to. Like, imagine if you have a major disagreement with your partner, but he's the one that pays for all the bills and you have no financial way of living without him. That's going to make you make some compromises that you wouldn't have made if you had that financial independence.
The way to achieve that soft life that you want, which no one explicitly states, is dependent on everything related to that man. From that man's income, to that man's loyalty, to that man's princess treatment that he's going to give you that you require. I mean, maybe you can get lucky and you can find the best men ever, but in a world where 90% of the women are trying to compete for the top 10% of men, at least that's what they say on dating apps, good luck to you.
I don't know what to say. Let me. Don't be mean about it, though.
I mean, what type of bubble is this? How many of these girls have actually gone on dating apps and seen how harsh and horrible the dating market is? It's a freaking gutter. And I'm not really sure what they're thinking. Like, do you really think that you're gonna sit looking cute night after night in some rich hotel lobby or wherever you think these high value men are, and sit and look cute and wait for these high value men to come out to you and reach out to you and chase you? Is that what it is? These high value men are onto you, you soft life influencers, and they're gonna choose whoever they were always gonna choose.
See, something that I learned about wanting a rich man, wanting a rich husband to come save your life and pay all of your bills is one thing. Dude, when they leave you, they're going to rub in your face that you are what you are because of them.
Let me give you an example on how to actually achieve the soft life, okay? My reproductive endocrinologist is a woman of color, and she is such an impressive woman. Not only is she a reproductive endocrinologist, but she is actually a partner in her firm, her practice. And guess what? I bet she struggled and struggled and struggled and worked so hard to climb that ladder to get to where she is right now. And right now, she's at the peak of her career, okay? You can see that with how much business, is coming through her doors, okay? She's at the peak of her career, okay? And she married really well because, of course, let's not deny how important it is to marry right. I will never ever deny that, right? So now, after all that hard work and struggle, she practices when she feels like, she sets her own hours, she travels when she feels like, she is literally living her best life. She's probably making like 300K a year, if I had to guess, if not more. And her husband, of course, is adding another 200 to 300K on top of that. And let me tell you something, because the soft life influencers are so focused on materialistic, well-being, if you're looking at it from a materialistic standpoint, just that way, this woman is winning, okay? She gave herself the soft life and she's hardly 40. She's the type of woman that is actually impressive, that should be a role model for other women out there. And I really think that these soft life influencers could learn a thing or two from women like that who really achieve things in their life.
Now we kind of live in a society where it's like, whatever makes you comfortable. And like in certain situations, of course, it's important, but I don't think comfort should be the priority in life. Stability, yes, but comfort, not always. Honestly, the soft life requires hard work. It requires work ethic and discipline and focus.
And does this mean that I want women to struggle and work so very hard and get traumatized, because of this hustler, extremely productive, mentality out there that some people are actually, trying to sell you? No, absolutely not. But if you live in a materialistic world and you like materialistic things, it has to come from somewhere. And would you rather those things come to you on your own terms or on somebody else's terms? The way to live a soft life is to give yourself a soft life, okay? I'm sorry, but that's how it works. I wish we could all inherently, live soft lives, but that's exactly the thing. If you don't come from wealth and you don't inherit wealth, you unfortunately inherit struggle instead. So a couple of years ago, I was at a technical conference for work, right? And so this type of conference has, the paper presentation section, and then it also has an exhibition section where there's lots of booths from different companies that are displaying like different technical information, right? So anyway, I'm walking around the exhibition looking at different booths, and I noticed that, in front of me, maybe like 2-3 feet away from me, I noticed this one woman who is just like absolutely gorgeous, okay? Now, to describe her, I would say she was really tall. She was a brunette. She had some really gorgeous, striking features, beautiful eyes, like nice bone structure. I do think she had her lips filled because they looked a teeny bit, unnatural. But overall, like, what do I care? Overall, she was just like this extremely just beautiful woman, right? On top of that, she was very, very modestly or conservatively dressed, if you will. She was like covered head to toe. Her dress wasn't even very tight. It was like a loose flowing, very professional dress because, like I said, we're in a professional, work environment, right? So she starts walking by and I am slowly walking, close to her, and I noticed right, in between the two of us, right, there were a couple of guys who she couldn't see because she was looking somewhere else, but I happened to unfortunately glance their way. And I could literally see that they were looking at her up and down, checking her out essentially, and then they were like whispering something amongst themselves. So anyway, I start walking away, look towards their direction, but like I had to cross them to sort of get on my way. And when I crossed them, I heard them say, "Oh yeah, she'd be real good for that." Now, I am not telling you guys exactly what they said because it was absolutely disgusting and mortifying. And if I say it, in this video, I will definitely get demonetized. But you get what I'm saying. You can make your own assumptions. What I can say is they were making some reference to her lips. I'm not going to say anymore. I don't know why I had to overhear this because I'm literally minding my business. I don't know why. I don't know why I had to hear this, okay? Because it was literally traumatizing and I was absolutely mortified for myself and for this poor woman. She was not wearing anything suggestive or looking any sort of way. But this is what I want to talk about when it comes to men, okay? She could not escape the male gaze. The male gaze, Gaze, not the male gaze. And tying this story back in, right? Soft life influencers literally live for that disgusting male gaze. Let me tell you how, okay? It's literally about, hey, go here. You're gonna meet the high value men there. Look cute. Wear this sort of tight dress. Look this way, but do your hair like this. Look this sort of way so that he will look at you, so that he picks you.
Wow, the pressure is getting worse.
Do you guys realize how disgusting some men can be? Like for these two guys, for example, if that man is a high value man because he makes a lot of money and he picks you, do you think that's good for you? And then on top of everything else, if he picks you because you look a certain sort of way, what happens when your looks fade? Does he fade with them? Like, you have to realize that humans in general are visual creatures, but men especially are extremely visual creatures, okay? And whether a woman is in a bikini or a burkini, whether she's at a conference or a party, whether she has lip filler or not, whether it's day or night and she's walking down the street, we as women, we cannot escape the male gaze. And that male gaze, let me tell you, is fickle, okay? Very, very fickle. And how can you base your relationships on something that is so shallow? Look cute, sit here, go there, act like this, talk like this, so that the man will pick you, so that the high value man will be interested in you. Is this how shallow our relationships are? This is the basis for them? Why are you yourself not the rich, powerful woman that frequents these places? Why are you frequenting these places to get the attention of the rich, high-value men that hang out here? We as women need to achieve, we need to work hard, and especially women of color, because these are things that we have been deprived of for generations and generations.
The attraction is towards the independent girl, and they're going to date the independent girl, but they will always go back and marry the girl who is conservative, traditional, who is hyper interdependent on them. At times, they might marry the independent girl too, but later on, as soon as the marriage happens, they will be asked of that girl to give up her entire independence, the way that she thinks, the way that she acts, the way that she behaves, because it doesn't coincide with culturally what these men want.
We as women, we need to starve that male gaze, okay? So that we do not become objects for men's pleasure, okay? We have to break these cycles of sexualization, okay? And we can only do that if we come from places of power rather than places of receiving. Hey, let me look cute, go here. Let me try to get this high value man so he can give me the soft life. Give yourself the soft life. I think it's very critical to understand that shallow beginnings lead to shallow ends, okay? And if your entire relationship basis is on just getting and bagging that high value man so he could give you a materialistic soft life, yikes.
I was just raised that the woman did it. And so I was like, oh, I'll do it. Now, do I regret that? Yeah, I wish I could go back.
Can't turn back time.
I know, but he can't cook now. So it's not like I can say, hey, honey, cook, because I just ruined him.
Look, we complement each other. You cook, I eat. You know, it's like an alcoholic marrying a bartender.
Okay, biblically, you are the head of the household, but I cannot stand the word boss. All right, leave me alone.
Women are men's helpmates. Women can't keep up with my rapid fire thinking.
That's what he says. I'm not quick enough.
Misty takes care of all the household chores, and I've delegated all that to her.
He really doesn't like opinions, not unless he asks them.
Some women need makeup. An old barn sometimes needs a coat of paint.
I don't want him to come home and just be like, oh my Lord.
I earn all the money, and she has underwear on her behind, a shirt on her back, and a roof over her head. So I am very supportive.
I'm not gonna live my life asking this man for pocket money and doing my makeup every day just to keep him loyal. I've seen enough women in miserable marriages that are absolutely stuck and they wanted their man to provide for them, but then he stopped providing for them and they had no backup plan and they were stuck, okay? They couldn't move. They had to live the rest of their lives in misery, not on their own terms, unhappy. I mean, we as women, we have to be smarter, right? Like, I can tell you my own personal story, right? Like, I decided to marry later in life than, what society and those around me, thought was good for me, right? But I had my own money. I made my own money. I worked really hard to have my own career. When these people were trying to come up in my ear, trying to tell me that, oh, you know what, you're expiring, nobody's gonna want you. The only person that's gonna want you is gonna be either divorced or like a single dad or like a dude with no money. You know what I was doing? I was gently reminding them that you, in fact, do not pay my bills. And I was out there traveling. I traveled a lot. A lot of it was solo. Like, it was absolutely fantastic. I was out there buying myself whatever I wanted, luxury purchases if I felt like it, or not if I didn't feel like it, right? And I was working really hard in my career to get to a point where I could give myself the things that I wanted in my life. And I don't need to have millions in order to live a soft life. I think for me personally, a reasonable, balanced, healthy life where I'm comfortable and content, that's the goal.
I swear, man, I wish all these independent women who are out making their own money and don't need no man, I wish they come out and say more stuff. Because apparently on all these goddamn podcasts and from all these high-valued men, they saying y'all will never find a man and y'all are unhappy. Let me tell you something about independent women with their own money. They are out having a blast. And social media had you thinking it's rich women out here crying because they ain't got no kids. No, they on a boat.
And because I had, financial independence and I was living my life the way I wanted to, I could really, truly take my time in choosing the man that I wanted to be my husband and essentially making sure that he was a good man that was also making okay money, but before anything else, making sure that he was a good man for me, that he was going to treat me right, that our personalities clicked and matched, because for some people nowadays, I feel like this stuff is not even important. It's all about being high value. How much money does he make? And yeah, that's obviously important, but that's not where you start. And more important than anything else is the person who you're marrying. Who are they? What are their values? What are their morals? And yeah, of course, you don't want them to be broke, especially if you're making a decent amount of money, obviously, right? But at the same time, you want to make sure that everything is balanced. Like I always wanted somebody that was in a relatively similar income bracket as me because I was making okay money. So if he was making similar, close to mine, if not a little bit more, that was perfectly acceptable. Even a little bit less would have been totally fine as long as we were in the same range. Okay, so nobody's ego gets hurt. That's the man's, not mine. I always wanted somebody that was an equal to me, somebody who I could stand next to and say, hey, this is how we want to make the decisions in our life. This is how we want to live our life. This is the vision for the future. Like, do things together as partners. There's no way I'm living a life where I'm looking at that man and saying, hey, can you give me $2,000 so I can go buy something?
Do not soft life yourself into debt. You do not have the same bank account that your favorite social media influencers have. You may not also have the credit card travel points that people are leveraging to get some of these amazing hotel deals and flight deals. Nothing is cute about wrecking your credit score and going into massive debt just to keep up with people.
Especially for us, okay? Girls that look like me, women of color, or those that come from underprivileged backgrounds. When you achieve something, when you break those cycles that had kept the previous generation of women stuck, it is a very, very powerful place to be in. The most powerful place to be in is a place where you choose how you want to live your own life. It's on your own terms. And I hate to say it, But having your own money and having financial freedom and achieving things in life is the way to do it. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules, okay? The worst place a woman can be in today's economic situation and the way that things are progressing is to be on the receiving end of a man's pocket money. And so, whatever your material, financial goals are in life, work hard to achieve them. If you're content with less, okay, good for you. But if you want more in your life, then work hard because you can give that to yourself. And that way, you do not have to depend on anybody else to make and create that life bubble, that fantasy world for you. The worst place a woman can be is a place where she is stuck because she does not have any financial backup plans or independence or any financial freedom of her own, okay? So if you want that soft life, you better give it to yourself. Do not be out there begging a man for one. All right, you guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I know my opinions are strong when it comes to this one, but I think somebody has to say it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.